Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Flash for the win here. We're doing another analyze this, and so yeah, I've received a little bit of feedback on the series. A lot of people have been kind of interested in it. Like I said before, I haven't really gotten replays for anyone yet, which is a little bit of a downer. Definitely want to get replays from everyone. I just really want to help people improve. That's really my goal right now. We have so many new people coming into StarCraft, Brood War Remastered, whatever you want to call it, that I really wanted to make some kind of identity behind what I do these days. Obviously, when I do casts, I'm more on the analytical side than just shoutcasting, although I feel like I can do both kind of decent to some extent. But yeah, the point is I really want to be able to help players out. So right before we begin, I'm just going to pause this again. So to introduce the players, the guy who sent me this replay is Neblime. So he's going to be our yellow Terran here at this bottom position. And that means that over here is, as our red Protoss, is going to be the enemy, so I don't really care about his name. The map is going to be a fighting spirit, as you can see. So pretty standard. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the game in the viewpoint of Neblime here. And the reason why is because I feel like if you're watching a game and you are looking at it from both point of perspectives, it's a little bit of an unfair, biased opinion. It's just how I view it. So right off the bat, this is late. I'm gonna say this straight off. This is late. You want to have this a little earlier. You already got your SCV basically done. This is basically a 10 depot here, not a 9 depot. If you're gonna do a wall-in, generally send your SCV out right before your 9th SCV or your 8th SCV is built, because he has 8 right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. So right before this 8th SCV is built, you probably want to send one from your mineral line up there. So that's all I'm gonna say. I watched the beginning of this video, and I do want to say that one of the big key lessons here that I want to say that I want to tell with this game is build orders. Build orders are really important. I can't stress that enough. A good build order sets up your entire early game. By the way, as soon as you see this probe, you can know that it's a pylon scout. This is 100%. This is a probe pylon scout here. It's usually going for a gas steal. So what I recommend I do is when I see a probe that comes into the base, I'm gonna turn down my scroll settings real quick. There we go. Because you know he's going to steal your gas. If your plan involves gas, which I'm going to assume he's doing because he's gone for the wall-in, you probably want to take your gas as soon as possible. Okay, this is a little slow. we'll do medium. There we go. So we'll see this probe, and I guess he doesn't take the gas. So okay, he's got a lot of idle SCVs. Don't do this. This is really bad. You need. So what I do is, if the probe is not attacking an SCV, generally if the player's not that good, they won't attack the SCV. So if the player's not that good, you can get away with just leaving one SCV on the minerals, and then you send this guy out to scout. You don't need to do because right now you've lost 3 SCVs worth of mining right now, and you're also about to start your refinery. So then that can be 4. You don't need to. That's a lot of mining loss right now. So if you think about it, you only have 7 SCVs on minerals right now. The only time you really need to be able to kind of stop this probe from attacking is if it's actually attacking your SCV. If it's not, you can just let it run around the base and do whatever the hell it wants to. So right now we're going to see, so this is an 11 racks, pretty standard, and an 11 gas. So you cut 1 SCV to build this gas. The purpose of this is kind of, you want your factory out a little bit earlier. Again, see, this is the issue right here, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 SCVs literally not mining right now. These 3 are fine right here. This 1, 2, 3, they're all fine. But the issue is that this probe literally has not attacked anything yet this game. So there's literally no reason to have this SCV chasing it. Also, you want to, by the way, because one thing to note here, try to keep your SCV as moving well as much as possible. And the reason why I say this is because you only need to bring your SCV out here to know that if there's a nexus here, right? So if the SCV gets here, you don't need to keep going to the base. You can just move it to another position. And this is important because it saves time, but more importantly, it saves you scouting information. You know exactly, you want to be very efficient with how you do things. So you know, next time when you can bring the SCV here, I mean, you have the APM, right? You're sitting at nearly 300 APM. Obviously, most of this is probably spam in the early game. But anyways, like, you know, if you're spamming, you might as well put the APM into something. When you have the SCV, just, you know, double tap it once in a while to check where its progress is. Once you see it get to about here, flip it around. Also, because you know it's a pylon scout, because you saw the probe so early, you know that the probes can have only spawn in 2 different locations. This one or this one. And the reason why is because the probe, unless you scout across map, which is very unlikely, the only way for the probe to get to your base in that short amount of time off of a pylon scout is if he's in close positions. So that's something key to know. I think that I'm not sure where this SCV goes, but it's something to keep in mind a little bit. Is just, you know, some minor brain ideas or tactics. I wouldn't say just brain. That's so stupid. I don't know why I said that. So you're nearing the amount of gas, and here's another problem: is that your build order here is a little bit off, right? You don't need to supply depot of 15. I understand that you probably want to block any kind of attacks here, but you don't need this depot yet. Also because of the fact that you're sitting now at 100 gas. Your build is really unoptimized, right? And then you went on and built another SCV here. You need this factory up as soon as possible. Like, don't start building other things in order to finish a wall off, for example. Literally just build your factory, and then the depot will come in another 10 or 15 seconds. It doesn't make that big of a difference. If he was building Zealots, he would have already sent one into your base by this point, I think. Another thing is, I'm going to see what builder you have, but generally you don't want 3 guys on gas all the time as Terran. Unless you're going for a very, very, very aggressive factory build, you do not need 3 guys on gas. You only need like 1. Sometimes people pull off all of them. So, you know, it's just an idea. So, you got 1 Marine. This is good. What I think you're doing is you're going for siege expand. At least this is what it looks like. Generally, siege expand, you're going to have the wall in here at the top. You only 1 or 2 Marines. And then build a factory in the command center. So, if this is a siege expand build, if that's the plan, you're going... only 1 guy on gas. You only need 1. I would recommend you go look at Liquipedia builds to just kind of understand how the build is progressing, and also the idea of pulling guys off gas. And the reason why this is important is because build orders are very efficient, right? You're gonna have, like, the goal of a build order basically is to keep your minerals and gas as low as possible while having a very solid opener to defend to get you to the middle of the game. Obviously, a build order doesn't mean I want you to take this build order until, like, you know, 10-15 minutes into the game. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is where's my timer? Is there a timer here? Let me see. Oops. I guess in a replay. Well, no, I guess it's at the right. I'm stupid. I guess it's right here. So you're at 3 minutes in the game. That's fine. A build order here is still important. So you have the factory going up. Like I said, it was very, very late. And again, your SCV here, again, doesn't need to scout all the way in. Especially at 3 minutes into the game, he's probably got a gateway out here, so you can probably literally just check up to here and then run away. Building a second Marine, this is fine. 2 Marines is generally the max I want to go with for a siege expand build. You finally start pulling out guys off gas, but it's really late. So look how much gas you have right now, right? It's a lot of gas. 220 gas right now, and your factory's not even done yet. It's not needed. You just throw your guys back on gas once the factory's completed, and it should line up perfectly with how your builder wants to go. You see the Dragoon, so now you obviously know where he spawned. But you built 3 Marines. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. Got the machine shop. This is, and keep your SCV moving as much as possible. This is good. Note to scout. So right here, you're scouting something, right? It's core spinning with double gate. So he's going for power goon build. This is a 25 gate generally. Or sorry, not 25 gate. 25 dragoon, typically. So now you got the machine shop going, and you've left 1 guy on gas. So ironically, this is fine because you left 3 guys on gas for such a long time. But again, in general, try to keep the builder in sync, because what ends up happening is right now you don't have that many minerals, right? Because you just started your siege mode and you're gonna start a siege tank. You already should have a command center going down at this point, but because you delayed with such extra gas right now, you're not gonna be able to have it, right? You don't actually get siege mode this early. You get a tank, you get a command center, and then as soon as you get your next 150 gas, that's when you get the siege mode. This is bringing the SCV out of the base is okay, I guess, because you know he's got a Dragoon. I suppose with this SCV here, checking the middle is not really that important. You know he's already got 2 gateways here, so you don't need to check the middle. I would suggest with this SCV is to check this location and this location for proxies, and then maybe somewhere around the map. But keep this SCV moving, which is good. That's a good thing that I've seen you do. 4 Marines. Again, if you didn't make 2 of these Marines, you would have saved 100 minerals. That's 340 minerals. You're close to command center at this point, which I know is what you want to do. This SCV, you don't need this anymore. You know he's gone for Dragoon, for double gate Dragoon build. He's not building Zealots. They're not going to pick up this ramp. You can move this SCV and get it back to mining. So yeah, now again, like, you're really low on gas. You need to put guys back onto gas in order to continue your tank production as smoothly as possible. You got your siege mode, that's great. You've got another supply depot. It's a little early, in my opinion. But oh, okay, great. You are checking for proxies. Awesome. So it looks like you have the scouting pattern of a player who's played at least some kind of RTS game before. I know a lot of players just will send in their SCV to die and suicide itself, but this is really good. 3 Dragoons come at the top ramp. Again, this is why. So, again, this is. I'll tell you this right now. This is why at the very beginning of the game, when you didn't have your factory down for literally about 30 seconds delayed, right? Because you built supply depot, or sorry, not this supply. You built this supply depot here, and then you built an extra SCV that you shouldn't have, and then you had 3 guys on gas, right? All of that delayed this factory timing because you're not going to have enough minerals to build it. If you pulled guys off gas, you might actually have had a couple more minerals to spare, but because you didn't, you stalled the factory out for an even longer period of time. Okay, so you know, one thing I want to take away from this is builders. I don't, like I said before, I don't mean you need to have a builder that's going to last forever, but I want you to have a builder that lasts to about 5 minutes into the game that you can follow to a T. In Terran vs Protoss, there are 2 builders I want you to learn. One is the actual siege expand build, not this kind of weird mess you have going around. And the second one is the fake double build, which is FD, which means you're going for a fake expansion here, and then you're actually building for a medium aggressive attack with, you know, a lot of Marines, a tank, and spider mines. Anyways, so this tank is a little bit late. You should have already had this tank and warded off these Dragoons, but and you don't need this many SCVs coming up the line. You only need like 3. One thing to note is however many Dragoons are attacking your buildings as Terran is how many SCVs you need. So if there's 3 Dragoons attacking your buildings, you need 3 SCVs. If there's 2 Dragoons, you need 2 SCVs. If there's 4 Dragoons, you need 4 SCVs. That's one thing to keep in mind for anyone who plays this game is you need to know this because again, it's optimization. You want to be able to have the perfect amount of SCVs so you don't waste mining time. And so you brought literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You brought 8 SCVs out the line. That's just far too many. And then you have another 3 SCVs here that are idle. So you had 11. You basically had a whole control group of SCVs that are just idle. You don't need that. You know, don't. Oh, is he lose a Dragoon? Oh, nice. Great job. But yeah, don't overreact. I know that for beginner players, overreacting is typically something that just happens naturally. You're just like, oh my god, he's attacking me, I need to pull everything. You don't need to do that. So like again, 3 SCVs here, don't need this. Your second tank is about to come out. All you have to do is put this tank a little closer to the ledge. This would be great. And then put another tank down here, and that covers essentially the entire base here. See, this is the problem with not having the second tank out early enough. Again, you should have had it out had you actually had a builder. But these Dragoons now are able to get kind of free pot shots on this. Once this Dragoon, this tank comes out, yeah, these Dragoons are going to be warded away. You get 3 guys on gas now, it's good. You got your second factory. I don't typically like this because look, you can build a tank right now, which you should be building. There's your tank. This one, I would, me personally, I would go for the upgrades for my vultures first before I get the second factory, or at least mines or speed, one or the other. The reason why this is kind of awkward is because you can't actually produce 2 tanks from these at once off of just 1 gas. You need the second gas, which means that when you build this command center, you need to take this gas immediately if you want to be able to continue production. Also, really key, you don't know if this guy's going Dark Templar or not. You don't know if this guy's going Reavers or not. You know he's gone for double gate, which generally means that if he's going for DTs, it's going to be quite late. But if you had canceled this and then had enough money, you could have gone either Academy, which you are, or gone for eBay, which helps deal with Reavers and DTs, albeit not mobile detection. So, again, in the Siege Expand build, it's very vulnerable to DT rushes, which is why they get their engineering bay out and turrets out very, very quickly. You need to know this. Granted, I don't think this guy in this game goes DTs, which is great. But it's very important to know. This barracks here, you're not playing a TvT, you don't need this for scouting. Literally just put this barracks here or here and try to close out your choke. And the reason why is because if this guy sends out zealots across this bridge with speed upgrade later in the game, you're going to be really, really hard pressed to defend this. This is okay. I don't mind this too much. Good damage on that Dragoon. Killed one. This guy's not very good, to be honest, with the Dragoon control. You need to start mainoring SCVs. Again, you have 2 idle ones. A lot of times, what new players will do is they'll put the rally into the middle of the middle line and then forget that they have SCVs here. So like you got like 6 SCVs idle right now. Okay, there's a comp stat. But like sometimes what you see is you'll just look at this briefly and you'll say, oh yeah, you know, SCVs are mining, but they're actually just in the middle of the middle line. Make sure you have the SCVs over here, and then also, you know, again, you have 170 APM. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to keep these SCVs mining. This is a big thing I've seen from you. Definitely improve this. That's one big thing. We got another idle SCV here, and you got a third. See, I don't know. The third factory here is like, to me, it's kind of like. I mean, I guess it's okay actually, considering this is the build that you've gone for. You've kept your minerals low, which is good. Your macro, I will say, has been good. I mean, I've watched a couple of your videos or replays so far when I was live spectating you, and your macro isn't bad. You need a couple more supply depots right now. Don't get supply blocked. I mean, this is like, I don't feel like I should be telling people this because I think this is natural common sense, right? Don't get supply blocked and keep your macro up. That's common sense. Every player should know this, right? So I'm not gonna really tell you to build more supply depots, keep your macro. That's something that obviously everyone will improve later on. And again, you need to throw down double supply depot. That's good because you got to keep up with your production. This is good right here, putting mines around this area, especially because you know that your Protoss opponents spawn in this area. Mines here, mines above are all really good. You also want to harass his third base. If I were to actually see if he's got a third base going, he's already got Dragoon at the top of the ramp, he's got a probe. If you had vultures out a slight bit earlier, you wouldn't, you might have been able to deny this, but because he's already got the Dragoon at the top of the ramp, unfortunately you're not going to be able to deny this. I think he just scanned here. Is that what happened? You did. So you know that there's no third base coming up just yet, which means that you can actually hold this off for a tiny bit if you wanted to go for more units right now. But checking for proxies is always good. Hidden bases are one thing that happens a lot in Brood War, and they're very detrimental. They matter a lot, basically. Double armor. See, again, this is, you know, this is why a build order, again, you know, it's already 9 minutes into the game. You don't need this build order. But at this point, there's also things that you should know in every matchup. And this is something that people, I feel like when you're a new player, you should do some research into the builds that you want to do, into kind of games that you want to play. You need one armory. You don't need a second one. Because you're not going for, unless you're going for a 1-1 timing, which is kind of, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of bad. This is fine, but generally as Terran against Protoss, you're going for a 2-1 time, which means you get one armory, you get a +1 upgrade. Once it gets about halfway is when you start your second armory and your starport to get science facility, and then you start 2-1 and should line up perfectly. That is something you should know. Do research on this. It's really important to know this. And kind of just, you know, small things like this. Again, it's all about optimization. Obviously at your level it probably doesn't matter yet, but once you start getting into the higher levels, this optimization is very important because it lines up everything with how your game's gonna go, your timing. Here, this is, you know, not bad. You've got a couple vultures at the top, tank. You should siege this tank up and then build supply depots in a line here, which is exactly what you do, which is good. But you definitely need a wall in here. Because Zealots running off this ramp is just not going to be a good day for you. Got turrets around the base. Again, these are kind of late. So again, like at this point, if the guy hasn't gone Reavers yet, I mean, these are fine, I guess. But they're just not really useful. You know what I mean? They're really late. You don't need them yet. A good turret to have is kind of like right on top of your factories. Is a really good turret to have. A couple of them perimeter on your base is good. A couple of them here are great. These ones are fine. One here is good. Just surround your base. You don't need two here, I don't think. Just one. One here would have been fine in the middle. That would have been my suggestion. But this is fine. I'm not going to criticize this too much. Good getting your second machine shop. As soon as you get your second gas is when you should start upping the amount of machine shops you have. See, once you get this armory, like again, start your upgrade as soon as possible. Like you build this armory for a reason. You're not building this just for Goliath either. Again, keep up with supply depot count. Something I like to do right when I hit about, so with 2 factories, I like to keep one guy building supply depots consistently. So you just have one guy, so you build the supply depot and shift click them to the next spot you want to build. Once you have this many factories, I build 2 supply depots all the time, just continuously building 2 supply depots. That's generally how I like to do it. It keeps up with macro pretty well, and yeah, so that's what I would want to see. Also, you built Academy and you only got 1 comsat. Like, get the second comsat. You don't need the SCV count just yet, really. The second supply depot, it's okay. Because of the fact that you've gotten this 3rd base now, you're actually, instead of defending this 1 choke, you're defending this choke. Because if Zealots and Dragoons were to run down here, you don't need this wall. This wall doesn't mean anything. So I would have positioned these supply depots more here to wall off this area. And again, build more supply depots here to wall off. As soon as this 3rd command center comes down, again, you generally want a comsat. You should start transferring SCVs over. Again, you have another SCV idle there, which again, it's fine. Don't worry about it too much. Again, not using these armories after you built them, it's a little bit of an issue. You got the command center up, which helped you. But yeah, here, this is good. You know, getting the wall in here. You scan his base. You saw that there's a robotics facility and the observatory and a Citadel of Adun. Let me see what he's actually doing right now. Templar Archive, so he's going for Storm. He's got a decent amount of gateways, and those gateway placements pretty ugly. I'm not gonna lie. He's got the 3rd base up. Okay. So right now, I would actually say you're kind of ahead because you've got your 3rd base actually ahead of the Protoss 3rd base, from what you saw actually. And you know he's not going to Arbor just yet. You're floating a lot of gas here, which means that, like I said before, definitely have the have more machine shops coming out. And you finally got your upgrades spinning, which is great. That also helps a lot with keeping your gas low. And because you've got so much gas in this game, like I said, the reason, this isn't a builder per se, but this is just a macro. Builders and macro all stem from what you have in the economy. If you have this much gas, what I would recommend is just throwing out 4 factories. Just start consistently building out 4 factories. I know you can't with this amount of minerals, but you can build 1, 2 is going to be on the way very quickly, and then get 3 and 4. And then build maybe another machine shop. 3 machine shops is pretty good for 2 gas. 4 machine shops is pretty good with 3 gas. And then consistently continue to build factories. Off of 2 base, you can support up to 6 factories. Off of 3 base, you can produce up to 4 machine shops and like a billion non-machine shops that are building vultures basically, because they don't cost gas and you're gonna have a ton of minerals. So keep the gas count low is really important. Again, re-rally your buildings. Don't double up on queues. Just the reason why I tell people to never double up on queue is because if you double up on a queue, yeah, you don't have to worry about the factory macro for a little bit, but it also tells you how much minerals you actually have, right? This vulture isn't doing anything, so you've sunk almost 100 minerals into absolutely nothing right now. So if you cancel this vulture, you could have built basically commands another factory. So again, really important, keep your gas low, and you know, again, another great way to keep your gas low is just to build a bunch of factories. So you're coming out here with a couple vultures to harass. This is good, obviously. I think here you needed another siege tank, and again, pulling guys off of these is just not good. You got your vultures here, which are good. You know, if probes want to come build up here, and you know that he's got his 3rd base, and you know he doesn't have this closer 4th base just yet. So I mean that's all pretty good. Here's another issue with you that I saw with your live spectate, and another issue I see here. One, you want to keep your factories clumped up. This is a little bit too elongated for me, right? You've got 4 factories on one screen, and then you have to scroll down for this next one. That's kind of You should have positioned your next couple of factories here or here so that everything is still on one screen. Another thing is you're positioning your buildings really far away from your ramp, right? You want to be efficient. You want to keep your units when they pop out as close to the choke that you want to defend or your rally point as possible. So that means that on Fighting Spirit, locate your ramp. So here you spawn this bottom position. Put your factories here in this big screen, because also Remaster has a bigger screen. If you were to camera lock your screen here, you can literally position about 1, 2, 3, 4 factories here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can position pretty much 10 to 11 factories in one screen if you were to do it here. On this screen, you can only position 4, maybe 5 if you can really barely reach up to this factory, which you can't, because if you notice, I can't reach it. I can't touch this one, or I can't touch that one. So fix your building placement is really important. Your macro is starting to slip a little bit. Whenever you start building, you know, getting your minerals up to like 400 or 300 left over after every macro cycle, just throw down like 2 factories. It always helps. Another scan. This scan I don't really like as much. So you want to be scanning where he might be keeping tech. So up here is good. Over here is great. His third base is good because he might hide carrier tech here. These scans are like whatever. Scans for gateway count is also kind of okay. But generally keep the scans to where you think he's building tech structures. This third gas is going down. Again, keep your SCVs not idle. Again, you have kind of low APM. Obviously, in the beginning of the game, you're spamming a lot. But you know, just what I would do is, you know, you hotkey all of your scanners. You need to scan here. Hotkey all your scanners, and what you can do is you just go 0 0 if that's where you scan. And then when you're building SCVs, you do 0 0. You see SCVs, and you just right click on the minerals. 9 9. See idle SCVs, right click on minerals, and then 8 right, see SCVs that are idle, and right click on minerals. This is pretty good. This is really good against Arbiter tech right here. What you're doing, you're keeping a lot of lack of space for the recall to go down on. What I would like to see now is a little bit of spider mines right behind this, and then a couple more turrets here. That way, when the Arbiter flies over, it has to recall right here. It can't go into your base here. So you need a couple more missile turrets here as well. I would say this area right here, a lot of people don't realize you can build a couple turrets here, is a really good area to build turrets in case the Arbiter tries to come from this diagonal right here through to your base and recall on top. And this is the position at the game as well, is once you start getting the science facility up, this is actually relatively okay timing, is where you want to start putting spider mines down. Again, look at your mineral count. You're floating, you know, 4 factories basically at this point. Build 4 factories, throw them down here, build a lot of, you've got machine shops coming down, you've got the science facility, you're going to start EMP vessels and then get the double upgrades as soon as possible. That's going to be a big gas sink right there, but you're going to have a lot of minerals left over. So again, build a lot more factories. For every machine shop factory, you should have 2 additional vulture factories, or maybe even 3 is my go-to. You see Jagged Dragoon up here. You came over and killed it, really good. You want to deny this 4th base as much as possible. He's got a shuttle out here, which is kind of whatever. You've got Goliaths. I don't know if you have Charon boosters upgrading, so that's good. At this point in the game, yeah, getting Charon boosters. Again, get this comp set down. You can see he's got an observer. If you see this observer, you can scan it or just build a missile turret underneath it. It doesn't really matter. Scanning going down, that's good. You see he's got a ton of high tempo. Wow, this high tempo's got a lot of energy. Oh, this is really good, really good. This is really good. Sniping the high tempo here is actually really important. You actually killed off 3 of them, and there's only 1 left. Now he's gonna go for a desperation push. This High Templar, it's gonna go down to tank fire. It's not, but he's also not storming, so he really doesn't. Oh, the mine! Nicely done. You need. So this is another issue, right? Luckily, this guy doesn't have that many zealots out. But if he did, your fort here is actually gonna get broken because you don't have enough vultures to deal with the zealots. Tanks are not good against zealots. They're good against dragoons, and zealots are bad against vultures. So again, like I said, you have 3 machine shops here, right? You probably want at this point, because you have 3 bases that have been running for a considerable amount of time, you probably want about 9 or 10 factories. 3 with machine shop is fine, and then the rest are with vultures. So again, when you're banking too many minerals, what I like to do is I like to just skip a tank cycle, which means you're saving 300 gas, and just throw down 3 factories. That way I can try to keep my minerals lower with more of the vultures that I want to make. This is good, getting vessel. You need to get your EMP right now. This supply depot here is not a good position. Like I said, try to keep everything in one area. All the supply depots in one area, all the factories in one area. Again, this will come down with more practice and more games that you play, is that you'll just get used to this a little bit more. Because of the fact that you have like 3 factories down here, you're kind of blocking room for your supply depot building. Generally, what I like to do on Fighting Spirit is, if you're in this position, for example, build all your supply depots, all your armories, whatever down here, your starport and your science facility here, and then all of your production facilities right here, all your factories. For this position, I like to do my supply depots down in a line like this, all the factories in this location, and then my starport and science facility down here. For this spawn, depots all over this area, starport, science facility, and then factories. For this spawn, factories here, supply depots going up in a line, science facility, starport there. So it's just to kind of keep yourself really organized, which is really what's important. Good job sniping the observer, really important. What I like to do with the first vessels, yeah, kind of go around my base, see if there's any observers and kill them with Goliaths. This base is pretty good. You don't need to keep these vultures and marines. Well, the marines are fine. The vultures you don't need to keep. You should probably honestly suicide these marines at this point, I'm not going to lie. They're just taking up supply that really not going to do anything. And this point, again, you've got a lot of supply depots now going down. That's good. You need this comsat still. You've got more idle SCVs. Just keep, again, always just make sure you got this. Spread out your tanks more, dude. if they Zealot bomb this, or storm this, dude, you're done. So like literally every single tank is here. 2 storms will literally cover the entire tank, and then 1 Zealot would kill all of your tanks. So again, still floating 2,000. What happened to your barracks? Oh, did you lose it? Okay, that's kind of awkward. Yeah, but I guess it's okay when your opponent doesn't know how to build a lot of Zealots and he keeps running with Dragoons. I guess you're taking the center expansion. This is ballsy. I like this. Actually, you know what? I'm fighting Spirit. I actually like this as Terran a lot more than trying to take the outer bases. So if you're trying to take this 3 o'clock, he could run around this side and go attack here. But instead, because you take the center expansion, you're actually just building towards this. I like this actually. This is really good because now you have a staging point here, which means you can attack literally anywhere around the map where you want. You've also got a really good map awareness because you saw this red blob, you thought it was a probe, and you went over immediately. Unfortunately, I had to cancel this. He's got an Arbiter out. Like I said, you got double vessel out. You got EMP. EMP's finally researching. It's a little late. Again, you have a lot of gas. It's not like you need to delay the EMP research. When you're floating resources, you just get the upgrade. Sometimes when the build order is more efficient, you're not going to have as much gas to just get the EMP, which is okay in that situation. Then you don't need to get the EMP as early. But in this position, because you're getting a lot of vessels, you're getting EMP upgrade, get it just as fast as possible. Again, more factories. You probably should have added another 3 or 4 factories here, because you're floating a lot of minerals. And again, this stuff is kind of just things you'll just get better at naturally. Is knowing when the mineral count gets high is when you should put factories down. But like I said, off of 1 base is about 3 factories you can support. Off of 2 bases is about 6 factories, and generally off of 2 base you want to do 4 or 5, not 6. 6 is actually an all-in build for if you don't know that. And then off of 3 base it's the 9, 10, 11. At that point, because you're going to be banking minerals, you're not going to be building any more SCVs, so you're going to have a lot of excess minerals, which means you need a lot more factories to build the vultures. So again, build order and macro tendencies are kind of one of the focal points of this game. Keep your vessels spread out. You don't want this to get stasis by 1 arbiter. More Goliaths out. I think you ended up losing a couple of these Goliaths. You got a lot of tanks. So again, here's the issue, right? If this guy literally charges your tank line with just pure Zealot, you're dead. You're just dead here. There's a good amount of Spider Mines here in the front, but because you don't have vultures to deal with the Zealots, man, like this tank composition is great, and I mean you've got like literally 2 whole control groups of tanks, but you need vultures, right? You're not macroing from these factories right now. You're still building tanks, which is great. Again, don't triple Q again because that's minerals that you could be building. And again, build more factories if you need to. If you don't have space in your base, you could try to build them out here, for example. Just build more factories. It's never a bad thing, especially when you can afford it. Command center going down here. I would have just sent these couple of units just to kill this pylon so you can set up this base. But you're maxed out right now. You're maxed out. You've got 2 upgrades. You got 3 on the way. I would have attacked right here. Personally, I would have attacked. But at the same time, I guess because you don't have any vultures, you can't really attack because you don't have anything to buffer for your tanks. You probably know this guy's taking these bases, so maybe you want to send your units. Oh, here are the vultures. You want to send your units to up here. These are probably going to be the least defended bases, so I would say it's sending like a contingency force of like 3 tanks and a couple vultures, while the main bulk of your army pushing in here is good. You're a slow push here, very good. You saw the probes here by the way with the scan, so you know what's coming. EMP on these Templar would be great right now. This Templar's got 1 storm on it. Good D-Matrix on one of the frontal tanks. I would say because of the fact that there's still units in front of this tank, these couple tanks here would be better to D-Matrix. But this guy's macro is really not that great. I mean, he's got like 130. He's also attacking really poorly. Not enough Zealots here. So I guess this is okay. Yeah, he just didn't build Zealots. So I guess his full tank composition is fine for you, ironically. But yeah, send up these vultures up here to this location. It's really smart. You know he's taking these bases at this point. Because you saw the probes transfer number 1. This is a really good one. That was a really good storm. that's another really good storm. Really good storms by this guy. Wow, he just slaughtered your tanks. But again, this is the problem. See, look, the Zealots are getting on top of your tanks. Zealots actually have a higher DPS than Dragoons. But Dragoons have the benefit of obviously being ranged. So, have more vultures here. This is where you should start siege. Don't siege up all your tanks. Siege up a couple from behind and leapfrog. A thing that I see with beginner players do a lot is that what they'll do is they'll just mass siege up the tanks. And they'll be like, okay, I sieged up my tanks, I should win a fight, right? No. You need to stagger your lines. When you have a lot of tanks, it doesn't matter. But when you don't have many reinforcement units like vultures and Goliaths, it's very difficult. So now you're down to 140, 150 supply. I mean, you're fine, dude. Just siege up your tanks here. You got a ton of spider mines here. All these Zealots are going to go down. There it is. These outs are down. This pylon again was kind of blocking this command center. See, this is the problem, right? You're floating a ton of minerals, not so much gas. Just plop down just a more there you go. That's what I'm talking about. A couple more factories. Transfer these idle SCVs obviously to like this middle base. You're getting more gas here. It's great. You see he's walled off. So when he walls off, again, just send like 3 tanks over here. Bring a vessel, put it up here. They'll break through this. Send vultures up. You're fine. Or get a dropship. Either way is fine. You're getting a lot of vessels. Again, don't double queue these vessels, especially because you want to see how much gas you really have. Should have gotten this refinery as soon as possible because of the fact that you're low on gas right now. You don't need more minerals. You just need more gas. These vultures should be with your army. Whenever a vulture is not doing anything, I feel so bad about it. This is more staggered, right? You want your tanks a little more spread out here. Spider mines. Oh, those are great stasis. Actually, it's funny. He saved all your tanks here. But again, these vultures here really would have been nice to have them in this fight. It would have killed off all of these zealots, and then the dragoons. He has like no dragoons left over here. But yeah, I mean, you're floating a decent amount of minerals. It's fine. You can bring this tank down. You can bring these couple tanks down as well because you know he's not going to be attacking there. But you're losing this base. And again, this is the issue with you right now. I think you have too many SCVs. I think that's where all your supplies gone. Yeah, I literally think that's where most of your supply is right now. But you can stop building SCVs. Like, you don't need to build any more SCVs out of this command center. Just use the SCVs from here and here to be able to reinforce. Sorry. Stasis is wearing off. That's great. He's gonna lose all of this and good mine drag. But yeah, like I said, this is the issue: is that you need more factories here. This supply depot, don't put this here ever, which is really bad. And then, you know, again, you missed a couple of rallies on your factories here, on your vulture ones, and then, I mean, like, trying to figure out what you want to be doing right now. I mean, yeah, you finally brought these vultures back. It's a little too late. You're gonna save this base, which is great, but again, more factories, just more and more factories. I can't stress this enough. I know I'm beating like a dead horse at this point. More factories. You can bring out, like, maybe leave 1 tank here and then a couple of spider mines back here, but bring these marines in. They're just taking up supply you don't need right now. Again, more idle SCVs, just send them back to mining. Repair, that's good. You know he's got 4 bases right now, and you've got like 5. So realistically, you're really ahead right now still. Unless... Okay, yeah, he only has 4 bases. He actually mined out from both of these bases. He's only mining off of 2 bases right now. You're mining off of 3. Yeah, bring these SCVs, bring them over here. You'll be fine. What is... Oh my god, you can't even see the observer. Oh. Wait, no. What the hell? Why can't I see the observer? That's a bug. It's kind of weird. Anyways. Continuing on. So yeah, again, your minerals are really high. Just build like 3 or 4 factories. Build an extra machine shop is going to be great. And again, you'll get more used to this as the game progresses. Just build factories closer, because you're spread out right now. So what you have to do is you have to do this and scroll down here and then do this. It takes up a lot of time. It's just really efficient to have your macro cycle like that. And you got 3/3 upgrades now. This is where Terran's super scary. Oh, what the hell? What happened to all your minerals? What do you do? Oh, you built like a ton of missile turrets, I guess. Yeah, okay. I don't see you building more factories. DT here, like I said, leave a couple of vultures here, and yeah, this DT is just owning. Yeah, good. You got a tank. Again, see, this is the issue, right? You don't have a balanced unit composition. You have too many tanks and just not enough vultures. I feel like the rest of this game is kind of going to be the same. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit through this because I feel like the rest of this game is kind of just the same. I'm gonna say make sure you're reinforcing your bases. And then good EMP there. Oh, Arbors finally came into play after he's lost literally all of his units. Oh, I lost my army. I'll stasis. I did it. I stasis his army. I don't have an army behind. Oh, I guess he's got a reason. These are good stasises. But again, you got more things coming in, you're fine. Your macro is like okay, but the issue is that you just need more units. That's really about it, or factories. New macro, it's great. You need more scans here. You need to kill off these bases. One thing I will say about Protoss is that you want to cripple their mining bases. Protoss doesn't have this army. He's not able to continue to macro up if he doesn't have these 2 bases right here. Right, these 2 bases are his lifeline. at this point. I mean, so are yours, but Terran's bases aren't as important because Terran can literally live off of, well, I guess this base is mined out, live off of 2 bases for an eternity. Protoss needs mining. They just need it in order to keep up with Terran. Because once Terran reaches the stage where they've got 3/3 upgrades, they've got vessels, they got tanks, vultures out, you just need a ton of gateways. And he's got a decent amount. He's got a double Stargate, which is good. Got an armor upgrade coming. What is his upgrades? Okay, 3 upgrade, 3 armor, or 3 attack. It's good. But yeah, like I said, your mining is decent. You're floating a little bit of minerals. At this point in the game, this is fine to float because you might want more minerals just in case your armor gets destroyed. Again, remember, see, this is the issue, right? You're losing macro on here because you're clicking this guy, right? And then you're clicking up here. So I think what's happening is you're clicking this. You think you're clicking these, and then doing this, right? Really bad. Keep, again, when you're attacking as Terran, you can't split up your army. You can't just send this small force out unless you're gonna lay like a billion spider mines down here. You have to bring your whole army up. Once you bring your whole army up, then you can leave like the 3 tank and 1 vulture there to really deal with the rest of the base. That's when you can do it. But until then, attack with your whole army. This is good. You're pushing forward again. Bring your vessels. Just another thing to note. God, my roommate's making food and I'm like starving right now. I'm gonna grab some in and out after this game. It's gonna be great. This is really good. There's a couple spider mines on top of your tanks. I would kill them. But yeah, so here it goes. Big stasis. Again, when your tanks are this clustered, it's a little difficult to kind of keep your army intact. Again, you're also missing a ton of macro there because your factor, again, triple queuing. Like I mean, this is fine, I guess, for your level, so you don't have to worry about it too much. What the rest of you? What the? How do you have 140? It's kind of weird. See, it always feels like he has more units because ultimately what ends up happening is that like he has less workers than you right now. He's getting this base too. He's a long game. Lost him in old expansion. That's not really good. Like I said, yeah, more idle SCVs. That's kind of reason why you're not keeping up with the macro tanks. Yeah, they can't go through supply depots, but vultures can go through that? Wait, what? Wait, no. Oh, I think you have a hole here. Maybe? I'm not sure. Anyways, that was kind of weird. More mining here. He's putting a cannon up there. I don't really know what to say. I guess for army positioning, keep your tanks not clumped too much. You're good with your mines. You know, just putting mines everywhere. I would put mines over here as well because you know he's gonna be building more gateways up here. Although I guess he doesn't this game. Put spider mines to defend your bases. This base is gonna go down. Unfortunately, you're gonna go back down to 1 mining base. Your triple Q on your building or your units are finally falling apart now. You got a recall in here. This is I think where the game ends for you. You just don't have any units left. You just need more factories. That's really what it comes down to, I think. The focal point of this game is just factories and build order. Your macro's fine though. Like, I mean, your macro's fine off of the minimal amount of factories that you have. These vultures have a lot of spider mines left on them, so you put spider mines below your tanks. They buff the time. You just lost another 2 bases. So you're not mining anymore. I think this is a game for you. Because even though he's losing all the units, he's still mining. He's got a huge army here. Yeah. You should have killed these off way earlier. That's something about Terran is that you need to kill these bases off earlier. When you go for the big maxed out push that you have, you need to target these side bases. The mining of Protoss is what you want to go for. You don't want to go for the killing blow on the natural. It doesn't matter to them. You need to kill their side bases. This is good. Kill this cannon. There you go. But like I said, he's just gonna base race you, and he's got another base over here. So I mean, at this point, there's also a ton of supply up. Doesn't matter. Oh, never mind. He can throw the game. No, not really. He can kill his army. He can't like push out for the rest of the game because he's got no mining. At least he called his pro. That's good. But yeah, he's still mining. Kind of, not really. You both aren't mining really. What the hell? Oh, he has 30. He has 30 supply worth of probes. It's kind of awkward. This game's a lot closer now, actually. But yeah, you just gotta make sure you don't lose these tanks. No, run up the rail. Alright. don't think you can push up this. I don't see you can push it. Those are high temp block. This guy just needs to build more zealots. That's for sure. If you're a Protoss player and you're watching this, build more zealots, please. So yeah, he's gonna kill your base and you're gonna kill his expansion. And he's still gonna have. Well, he has no probes left actually. This is weird. We got an arbiter here sitting. This is a fun game. This is really cool. You should have. I think you should have owned him though. Obviously, like I don't mean it. When I say that, I don't mean to be a dick. I think that you play this game pretty well. The issue is again, your initial builder is not great. You need to learn to optimize your siege command build. Like I said, go on Wikipedia and learn. Your second one was your tanks were too clumped, and third was you just didn't have enough factories. And just position them better for when you go for your macro cycle. This is hilarious. Are you really gonna expand here? That's amazing. Oh my god, is Protoss gonna GG? Wait, do you actually win this game? It's incredible. Well, I don't know. Guys, oh wait, oh no, he lost the command center. He lost. Oh wait, he has one more. I was gonna say, if that was your last command center, that'd be hilarious. I mean, they got like literally like one CV mining. Wow, this guy should have been long distance. Oh, he is. Oh, he's right for the center. That's hilarious. God, this is a fucking amazing game. This is actually amazing. I like it. You're putting this to wall off your ramp, I think. Oh my god, that's golden. Is he gonna recall on top? Oh, there's the recall. Oh my god, he lost all his units! Wait, you can still. Oh my god, he failed recall! What is this game? How did this game happen? Oh my god, that was amazing. That's incredible. Wait, oh my god, I hate this when replays happen. You can't see any of the units right now. Anyways, so like I said, I think the big three things that you should be taking away from this game is one, your build order. I think anyone who's watching this video should really understand what the point of a build order is. Two, your macro and the positioning of where your macro buildings are. If you see Flash, if you see, Bisu, Harang 2, if you want to watch Harang 2's videos, he's like the best gateway placement guy in the world. Oh my god, his gateway placement is like perfect. It actually makes me like really happy when I see his gateway placement. It's all nice and organized. It's just efficiency and the time it takes. So instead of spending like 3 or 4 seconds on top of your buildings to macro, which adds up over the course of a game, you're only spending like 1 or 2 seconds. So if you're saving 2 seconds per macro cycle, if you think about it that way, right? If you save 2 seconds per macro cycle and you're macroing about, let's say, 50 times in a game, you're saving over a minute of sitting on top of your buildings. A minute of APM, right? You could literally spend 200 more actions in that course of the cycles. So it adds up. It definitely adds up. It definitely helps. And then third is your tank clumping is not that great. You need to understand what a better unit composition is. You need more vultures. Too many tanks, I think, was really, it could have really helped you out this game. And then get EMP earlier, and then understand what the 2-1 timing really is. Double armory, I guess in this game is fine for lower levels. It's whatever. But when you get up to higher levels, really understand what the point of getting 2-1 is. But otherwise, I think the game went okay. Like I said, your macro's decent, your scouting is decent, your reaction to the minimap is great. I think you said you're a StarCraft 2 player, so that stuff should carry over to the game. But like I said, macro obviously won't carry over. Your build order understanding, your unit composition understanding, all of that's not going to carry over. That's what I think you need to work on the most. I didn't really see too much other in that game. Just build order, building placement, macro. I mean, everyone needs to work on macro. Build more buildings for your macro when you're starting to float too many resources, and then also how to push out. If you can learn all of those, I think it'd be great. I think you have a lot of potential as a player, and I really hope that to see you in some more replays that I do, or practice games against myself would be great as well. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and again, send me replays. I love this series, honestly. I've only done 3 games of this, but I really like this series. Definitely send me more replays, and tell me what pro games you want analyzed. That'll be it. Thank you so much for watching. My name is FlaShFTW, and I'll see you guys next time.